Hello everyone, this is Ankush Sharma and today we will see how we can implement the filter function from the scratch. So let's start. So first we will see how we are using the filter function in JavaScript. So for that I will take the input array. So let's suppose this is our input array. And now we will apply the filter function, inbuilt filter function on top of this array. So let's suppose this is the filter function and here we are passing the callback function, right? And this callback function expect the value and the index. So it is like filter function is iterating this input array, right? And this callback function will be called on each value of the input array. Now let's suppose if the callback function is returning true, in that case that particular value will go into the output array, and if the callback function will return false, in that case that value won't go into the output array, right? So let's suppose we have the condition like if the value is greater than 2, then only put the value inside the output array. So here we are returning true, in the other case we will return false. So here whatever the array will be returned by the filter function, that we will put in some variable. So let's suppose this is our output array. Now let's try to console this output array and we should get the value 6 and 7, because when we have 6 and 7, then only the value is greater than 2. And then only we are returning true, right? So only these value will go into the output array. So let's try once. Cool. So here we are getting 6 and 7, right? So now let's try to implement the filter function from the scratch. So to access the filter function in every instance of the array, we need to write the definition inside the prototype of the array constructor. So this is the array constructor in JavaScript we have, and this is the prototype of this array constructor, right? And here we will define one new filter function. So let's suppose filter2, and this function we are writing from the scratch, and this function is expecting the callback. So we will take one argument here, right? So now first we will write the logic that is very obvious for us. So this filter function is returning array, right? So we will return one array from this filter function. So we will create one empty array for us, right? So next, filter function is iterating the input array and calling the callback function on each and every value of the input array, right? And it is checking if the callback is returning true, then only put the value inside the resultant array, right? So we will write the same logic here. So let's suppose this is our for loop, and here we are iterating our input array. Cool. So now we will see what is this here. So this will refer to the instance which is calling the filter2 function. So let's suppose if I am calling input array dot filter2 function, right? So in that case this will refer to the input array, and I am taking the length of the input array here and I am iterating on top of it, right? So let's suppose if I have to access the value of the input array, right? So that I can access like this also, right? This and the index of that particular array. So the same thing we will use, we will pass to the callback function also. So let's suppose this is our callback function, and the value we will pass current value, and here we will pass the index. Now if callback is returning true, in that case we will put the value inside our resultant array, right? So again the value I can access with this and the index I, right? And if it is returning false, in that case we don't need to do anything, right? So I think, yeah, that's it. So this is the filter function we have. And now let's try to call this new filter function on top of our input array. So let's suppose this is output array 2, this is input array, this will remain same, filter 2 value index. So let's suppose we will keep the logic same here, and here we will console output array 2. Now let's see what we get. Cool. So here we are getting the same results, right? So yeah, so this is the filter function from this class. This is very simple. And now if you are wondering what is array and the prototype, so array is a constructor to create arrays in JavaScript. And if you have noticed, like every function in JavaScript has a prototype property inside that. And if you want to inherit something from that particular function or constructor into the new instance, you can write those properties under the prototype. So like we have written the filter2 function, right? So now filter2 can be accessed by any instance of the array. So input array is an instance of array, right? Cool. So that's it for now. So we have written a very simple function for the filter that we use in JavaScript, that is provided as an inbuilt function. Cool. So hope you learned something new today, and that's it for now. Bye.